Well, I have a very special conversation and interview for you guys today. It's Emmy week, and Bold and Beautiful is kicking things off with showing 5 Emmy-winning performances this week in encore presentations on CBS Daytime. And I have 3 Daytime Emmy winners galore with me today, and I'm really excited about this. First of all, I have Heather Tom. Heather Tom has won 5, count them 5 Daytime Emmys, and 1993, 1999, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2 younger actors for Y&R, 1 supporting and 2 lead for B&B. I think she's won a lot. And she's a nominee this year. Correct? Correct.
Yes.
Scott Clifton is with us. He's won 3 Daytime Emmys. And one more thing about Heather, she is the only actress to win in every single category, younger, supporting, and lead. Scott
and she was the first person ever to...
Scott Clifton, as from the male side, has won in every category, younger, supporting, and lead. And Scott, I don't know if you know this, but you were the 2nd youngest winner ever to win lead actor. Only Darnell Williams of All My Children won it a few years younger than you did. I think he was,
yeah, I heard that. That's pretty cool.
Wow, so much
and
trivia.
Scott was the first lead actor winner in the history of Bold and Beautiful for lead actor. So,
is that true?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
True.
Hey, cool.
So,
That's very cool.
And then we have the reigning queen, the lead actress winner from last year, Jacqueline MacInnes Wood, who will have to give up her crown on Friday when the new lead actress is
I think that we should actually do that. I think we should actually
And Jacqui, you were nominated, though, a couple times for younger and then supporting even before you won for lead last year.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right, Emmy people. So, pretty great company. Heather, you know, you're a nominee again this year. I guess we should start with you since you're in the race this year. What did you end up submitting this year?
I ended up submitting Katie's kidney storyline, where she once again receives an extra part. So yeah, I thought there was some stuff that I was happy with and proud of with Donald.
I don't want to die. I want to watch my son grow up. I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
I thought that was my best work from the year. So we'll see.
Interesting enough, all of the encore presentations this week that the fans are going to see, all of your scenes are with Don Diamont. All of it revolved around Bill Spencer. I noticed a lot was revolving. I thought that was such an interesting through line.
So don't tell Donald that.
Don't tell Donald.
Oh my God.
Oh, you don't need to. He knows. He knows.
Oh.
He knows he's our lucky charm. He's our lucky Emmy charm.
So Scott, the one that aired this week was your first Emmy win. Right? And it's when you're unhappy to learn that Bill is your father. He's not happy.
Yeah, right after the DNA test.
Do you remember, like, taping that episode? Do you remember anything about that 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think I remember taping it. I mean, I had already gotten to work with Dawn for like a week at that point, but Dawn was really smart because the first week that I was supposed to be an employee of his, but I didn't know that he was my father or anything like that. And there were a couple of times where he gave me feedback and he said, listen, I know what's coming. Don't give me so much attitude yet. Trust me, you will get the chance, but don't do it. If you do it now, you're not going to be able to have this moment later. And I didn't know what he was talking about, but sure enough, that scene was what he was talking about.
So Scott, what do you remember about winning your first Emmy? It was Emmy night, your name's called, and what happened? Did you go
Yeah. So I don't know if this is one of those tricks of memory. I don't know if this is my memory or my wife's recounting of that moment, because it was kind of a blur for me. But she says that in the seconds before they called the name, I was very, very sure that I was not gonna win. That's not one of the, everybody says that, but I like felt like, no, I knew. And so I just kind of like slumped down in my chair and like stared at my feet. And my wife said that I was just staring at my feet when they called my name. And I like looked up and looked at her like, did I mishear that? Was that real? And she like nodded like, yeah, they called your name. And then I, stumbled my way up to the stage.
And the Emmy goes to Scott Clifton.
Whoa! That just happened.
And I don't remember giving the thank you speech thing or anything like that. I saw it later and was mortified because I was a mess. But yeah, it was great. It was a very, very cool moment for me.
And Jacqui, we celebrated last year backstage when you won lead actress. It was the best. It was so much fun. Oh my God.
We laughed so
hard because it was just, you were just so thrilled that you had that in.
It was amazing. We laughed so hard for so long. I don't even know. Our interview was insane. I like danced around you at one point.
Danced around, yep. Because she won the crown.
And the Emmy Award for lead actress goes to...
Oh, I get to read it, huh?
Yeah, do the honors.
Jacqueline Wood.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Oh my gosh!
So what do you remember, Jacqui, about, here you were with a lot of Titan women in the soaps that were also nominated. It was your first time in the category. Mm-hmm. So what was it like sitting there and waiting for your name to be called? And did you think you had a shot?
No. Like what Scott said, I had no idea.
Okay, I have said I'm muting.
I had no idea, honestly.
I'm calling BS on this because you had such an amazing year. I think everyone knew. Everyone knew that.
I swear on my life, like no joke. So I drove in to the Emmys that day from Palm Springs. I went with my mom for the weekend, and we were talking about it. And my mom's like, "Darling, I don't think you're winning. I think Mara Weston is winning." And I'm like, yeah, no, like literally, I honest to God, had no clue. Like what you see is what you get. I was actually completely shocked. I know you could call BS on it, but I really didn't think that. I do recall watching the reels and seeing everyone, and then it pans to me and I just look like a hot mess in my thing. And I'm like, oh my God, could I actually get, and then they called my name. And yeah, it was like Scott said, it was, it's a whirlwind. And I think what was nerve wracking for me is just because, for that first month, I just had a newborn and I was just talking to a baby for the last month and a half. And then I had to talk to thousands of people. Like I couldn't even form a sentence. Like I haven't done that. And so just communicating with the world is what, when you have, and moms know at the beginning, like you're saying goo goo gaga for the first few months. So yeah, it was a huge surprise. And yeah, it was a fun day. It was a big day. I remember getting there and, breaking a heel right when I got there, and then having to juggle a broken heel and trying to pump my boobs. And the lead actress is obviously at the end of the show and we're sitting up front. So trying to go back and forth was just not possible. It was a whirlwind. Absolutely enjoyed it.
Well, and I want to say the episode that people are going to see on Friday this week is Jacqui's winning performance. And in that was Scott and Jacqui, those scenes where she, he's like, what do you mean the paternity? And like, we learn that, he learns that she slept with his dad. And
yeah,
they were so big. You were waiting for that moment. Do you remember both of you taping that?
I remember that like it was yesterday, because the night before my husband proposed to me. And he was planning that for months. So I had this long storyline, and crying and all emotional scenes and really just doing my best as I possibly could in those scenes. And a few days before that day, I remember lying in bed with my boyfriend at the time, and I'm just looking at my scripts going, I don't know if I can even cry anymore. I've been crying for so many months. And here it comes where it's the big explosion, and I really want to be able to bring it. But sometimes you cry so much that you're literally dehydrated. There's like no tears coming out of you. And I remember just looking at my scripts and saying that to my boyfriend, going, "Oh my, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to cry." And he's probably just spiraling, going, "Oh God, I planned this for months, and I'm going to propose to her the day before and then add to it." So needless to say, my highs are very high and my lows are very low. And like having to bring it so low the next day was extremely challenging because I was on cloud 9 and I really was, you know, like I said, it feels like it was yesterday. So that was extremely challenging. But, you know, Scott being such a professional and so talented, like was able to like bring me back down to earth. And on top of it, my husband surprised me with bringing all my like Canadian friends and family in that day. So then they were taking a tour of the set while I had to film those scenes.
Oh, yeah.
So, it was a lot. It was a lot. So I'm happy that I went for those.
Yeah, so Scott, you knew that she had gotten engaged.
Yeah. I remember those days. I was really, really proud of that day because that was the episode that Jacqui won for, but that was like one of 3, maybe 4 episodes in a row that we shot that day. It was like a huge, huge day and so much dialogue and just it was like no breaks and all of us had stuff going on. And Jacqui, I remember like Jacqui like came to work and she was like, "Dude, just bear with me, man, because like I don't know how we're gonna get through this, but like we're just gonna moment by moment. Like I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're just gonna have to do it. We're gonna figure it out." And we both had that same mentality. Like, yeah, there's no planning for this. Like there's no like preparation that we're gonna do that's gonna and we couldn't. Like there was stuff going on for all of us. So yeah, I think all that stuff, I mean, we did I think we got it right in like the first take. I mean, the moment where she reveals it and I'm like, "Oh, I can't believe you had sex with my dad." All that was our first try and we just breezed right past it and moved on because there was so much material after that to still do. So yeah, I'm proud of the final product, but I'm also proud of what we were able to pull off on set that day.
Heather, so, you know, I don't know, the one they're going to show of yours is on Thursday this week. And it's where you learn that, of course, Steffy and Bill seem to be having some kind of affair, you know, and then she has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then she goes and has a chat with Steffy after the heart attack.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene after the heart attack where you really told her, like, tried to put her in her place, but it was really sad. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed that storyline. I think it was like, I loved working with Jacqui. I thought we had really good chemistry. And I had fun with that stuff. I thought that it played really honestly. That was a crazy week. We had just gotten back from Monte Carlo and I had like 10 shows that week. So I was just like, yeah, we're just going to move through it. Maybe that's when we do our best work, when we just have to get out of our way and just, you know, and not second guess ourselves.
So that was your first lead actress win for TV, right?
Yeah.
And then, so you won in 2011, 12, and 13.
And the Emmy goes to Heather Tom. Heather Tom. Heather Tom as Katie Logan.
Well, thank you so much. Anyone who knows me knows that my favorite thing to do is to go to work.
So what was that like when your name kept getting called year after year 3 times in a row?
Well, I mean, it's nice to win. I've lost a lot, though. I've lost a lot. And you can have a good time losing, too. But I always have so much fun at the Emmys. This year we're going to have to figure out how we're doing it because it's a little bit different. We're going to have to figure out how we're, like, having that party. But I always have so much fun with everyone in the community because it is a small community, and I have known most of these people for literally decades. I'm happy when anyone's name is called, and I really truly mean that sincerely because I know their work, I know how hard we all work, and I'm proud of everyone. And so it's, I like to be part of the conversation. Fun.
Do you when you guys are voting, when you're looking at people's work and reels, what do you look for that kind of, for you as actors, that you go, oh, that one did a good job? What do you think? What do you look for in a performance?
Something that gets me and takes me with them on their story and feels like raw and they're present, and knowing that like the amount of dialogue that we get, and honest. I think that's what really gets me.
Yeah, for me, sometimes it feels like there's this zero-sum game between authenticity and being interesting. And there's a habit of a lot of actors my age and younger there's this culture now that gets drilled into young actors that if they're too interesting, it's not real. And that's not true. You can have both. But it feels like it has to be a tug of war between the two. And so yeah, I look for some combination of authenticity, but also not like monotone, like just being interesting and having levels and having different moments and variation. But one thing that always gets my vote is when I see an actor and I can tell that they read that script, because I can hear the dialogue. I can tell that they read that script and they made the decision, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it my way.
That's fire. It's fire.
And it's awesome.
I love when people do that.
Yeah, and you can tell, maybe only we can tell because we get the scripts and know how the sausage is made. But yeah, that's always great.
You're a director and an actress, so you have such a great perspective of like probably looking at all of it. When you're
I mean, I want something that makes me feel something, and that doesn't mean you have tears running down your face. You can't play what's on the page. You have to take what's on the page and then bring yourself to it, bring your own sensibility to it, and find those choices that people aren't expecting. And then you're going to hook that viewer in. You're going to be able to take the viewer on the emotional ride, because people can have tears streaming down their face and it still doesn't make you feel anything. And I think sometimes viewers don't know why they connect or why they feel something for the character. And a lot of times it's because you're taking what's on the page, you're personalizing it to yourself, and then you're putting that out there. And so I personally find that part of the reason why I find daytime so exciting as an actor and as a director is that you do have this thing that's like, it's not a blank slate in that. I don't want to make it sound like we're making up the story on our own, but like the writers give you the story and they give you the lines and they give you the situation, and then it's your job to like bring yourself to it. And that's what I look for. I just want something that's going to hook me and make me feel something.
Scott, I was surprised to learn that you did not submit yourself this year for lead actor, and the best scene of the year to me was when Liam sees baby Bethany, runs in to the Phoebe thing, and it's like the most emotional, beautiful moment. Why did you decide not to? Because everyone was asking about Scott Clifton, and I just wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I loved that scene too, and that scene just kind of happened to me. I mean, it was the when the kid, like, she put her hand on my face and she said like "daddy" or something. I can't remember what she said, but it was like in that moment we were like, oh, this is gold. But we didn't know it was going to go like that. That was just, I mean, it was that kid made that scene happen. But that was just one scene. It was one scene in a story that was really Annika's story. And it was about the pain of motherhood and losing a child and getting, all that, I was really a supporting character in that storyline, which is a great role to be in, but it wasn't my story. It was Annika's story. And I went through this thing where I started to feel like, I've submitted myself every year for like a decade. And I just started to think, people got to be getting sick of me, and I wanted, even not in terms of like me getting nominated, but
perennial nominee Heather Tom.
Hey, Trust me, they don't get sick of you. We've been doing this a long time.
You're nominated. That's how you know they're not sick of you. I think a hint to me maybe was that the year that Jacqui won. And it was just, her performance was so beautiful, and but I'm in all those scenes and I submitted the same scenes and I didn't even get nominated, and I was really, really proud of those scenes. That was a sign to me to like let it breathe a second. Like, just you know, give people a break for a second, because they have to watch me every single year, and that's got to get obnoxious. So it just felt right. It just felt right not to submit myself.
Heather, how many nominations have you had? 27?
No, I think like 19.
19.
That just means I've been doing it for a long time.
How do you guys feel about that? It's a virtual Emmys this year. You know, you're not going to be like, you know, with your buds and everyone, you know, like we normally would do. You know, I mean,
I think we're still going to get a Zoom together. You know, I feel like I'm just so happy that they're airing it on CBS. And I think that it's going to be a fun experience. And yeah, so I'm glad they're doing it.
When you realized you could, all three of you could no longer, because you aged up and couldn't be in the younger category anymore, what happened? What happened? Like, what happened when you realized, oh shoot, I can't enter in younger anymore? And now you've either, like in supporting where all these people were, did you have a moment of like, shoot, I've aged up, I can't?
No, I don't remember. I guess I don't remember. Scott's like having anything. I remember.
Yeah, for me, the year that I won Younger Actor was the last year that I was eligible for Younger Actor, and I had, like Heather, like I had lost a lot, like so. Yeah. So I just thought, okay, well, it's kind of over after this, because it was so alien to me, the idea of winning in any other category besides Younger, like that, you know, supporting actor and lead. I mean, there was no way. Maybe that was part of why, you know, I had my head buried in my shoes, you know, that year, because it just felt like, yeah, this is after this.
I had 10 years of losses in between my last Younger Actress win and my next like supporting actress. I lost 10 years in a row. So I was like, I'm never winning again. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I have a good time. We have a great party. Like, you know, I'm never winning again. And then I kind of went on a streak, and now I'm like, I'm never winning again.
I don't know what
now it's been, I think 7 years. It's been 7 years.
But I don't know, but what body parts does she have left, Katie?
Yeah, I know. I don't have anything more to trade in. So,
Jacqui, what advice would you give now that you had that experience last year? What advice would you give the anybody that's nominated this year while they're waiting on Friday night to see if their name is called?
Goodness, I just say enjoy the ride, enjoy the moment, and just be as prepared as you can with your thank yous.
Distinct.
Yeah, really, just be, you know, grateful for it, and yeah, just really be in that moment, and yeah, but you always want to know that speech.
Did you guys ever kick yourself for forgetting somebody you wanted to say but the time ran out, or
God,
then you have to call everybody back up and go, I'm so sorry I didn't mention you? Or like,
you have a moment, I feel like, and I'm speaking for all of us, but you have that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I won. And then afterwards you're like, oh my God, what did I say? How did I say that? Did I forget somebody? So you have this high moment, and then it gets really low for a second, and then you kind of even out. But you do go through that list.
I had a moment where I walked off stage and I went to Eva and I was like, did I thank Brad? Did I thank Brad? And she's like, you thanked Brad. I was like, oh, thank God. Did I thank James? She's like, you didn't thank James. So then I actually presented, and before I presented the award, it's like, I just got to get my husband in there. I really messed up. So yeah, actually he was my husband at that point, but yes. So, but I was just panicked that I had to
remember that. I remember that. Scott, what about you?
The times that I've won, I'm just mortified at what I said up there. By the time I won lead, I thought, okay, I've really learned now. I know that I have a very finite amount of time, and I'm just going to acknowledge that at the get-go. And I'm going to say, I don't have enough time to thank all the people that I want to thank. Trust me, I'm going to thank you. So I'm only going to give myself 3. And I gave myself like 3 people to thank. And then I came off the stage, and, you know, my wife was like, I'm not one of the 3, huh? And I was like, damn it! I still didn't get it right. So, and supporting.
It was a tie.
Tell
me about what it was like with the tie.
I wanted to die. I wanted to die, because they don't tell you the protocol for a tie. They announced my name, and then I made my way to the stage. little did I thought, okay, so it must be that they announced my name, I give my little 60-second speech, and then they're going to call the second name. But it was so loud in the room, I didn't know that they had announced Billy's name while I was on my way up. And then Billy comes up behind me, and I take up the whole 60 seconds.
Thank you so much.
And then I look behind me, and there's Billy. I wanted to curl up into a little ball and die. I took up all his time, and I had no idea that he wasn't going to get his own 60 seconds. And I just...
But then what made the whole thing even a little stranger was then didn't you guys have to go sit on the sofa and get interviewed?
Oh, that was
that was weird.
I was just so cringy. I was like, what are they making them do?
That was a very uncomfortable year.
Bold and Beautiful, you know, got a lot of, you know, exciting press, and it was great to know that they began production again. The first soap opera in America back.
First production, really, almost.
First U.S. broadcast show back in a production period. What did you think about when you heard the news, like, we're going back? Because you've been, you know, you haven't taped in a while, and what was your reaction to learning we're going back, and we're going back now?
I was like, oh, crap, I got to start dieting. I was supposed to be working out and losing weight this entire time. Now I have a week. I'm happy that we're going back. I'm ready to get back to work. I feel like it's going to be a learning curve. I think, Jacqui, you've already been through it. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. But I think we can all make it work. I think everybody wants to make it work. And we know that we are kind of setting the tone for other productions. And, you know, we're all going to jump in with both feet and see.
We're setting the tone, and we're all, you know, so excited to get back. But, you know, it is important to follow protocol, and we're all learning. But thankfully and luckily that we're a well-oiled machine, so we're going to pick it up. And, you know, we did it quite quickly the first day back, and we're just going to continue to learn more about this, and you know, just kind of dance in the chaos right now. When
I got the memo that we were going back, I didn't believe it. I just thought, yeah, they think they're going back, but we're not really going back. Like, I was such a doubting Thomas. But then it really started happening, and very concrete moves were made, and here we are. So I haven't had my first work day back yet, but I know what it's going to be like, and it's going to be different. And I kind of think it's, I know this sounds strange, but I think it's going to be kind of fun. I think it's going to be like a challenge in a way. Like, we haven't, like, I've never acted opposite a tennis ball either. Like that, you know, that's a kind of thing that's like very different that an actor could have to do. But I don't know. There's just, it is going to be different, and
a lot of obstacles.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it'll be kind of fun to try to.
Oh God! Like, I mean, blow up doll.
I know.
You know, the blow up doll thing, though. You know, you take a quote. It's an example of, you take a quote. You know, you say it. You know, and it kind of blows up virally. And then when journalists take that quote, it kind of gets like a little twisted.
Oh, I know.
You know, so.
I've had so many family members call me and ask about the blow-up doll, and I'm like, we're not doing blow-up dolls.
I was so confused. Someone messaged me that, and they said, your love interest will be a blow-up doll. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then I had to look it up. And if Steffy gets her new love interest, and now she's going to have to make love with a blow-up doll, she hasn't had a new love interest in years, and now it's going to be a blow-up doll? I can't.
As a director, when you were reading through kind of what they were going to do you think like, oh yeah, we can make that look like...
We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. You know, I actually think that our genre really kind of lends itself to this, just because we, you know, our shows are sexy and romantic, but we don't really show a whole lot a lot of times. And so, you know, rather than a show on HBO where like the simulated sex scenes are very important to those shows, ours are more romance. And so if we can make it romantic, our viewers are going to be happy. And I think that that's definitely something we can pull off.
Were any of your spouses not happy that you were going back? Like, don't go back.
My spouse was thrilled I was going back. He was like, get out the door.
Leave.
Like, he was like, put an egg in your shoe and beat it. So like, yeah, I mean, like, he's like, great, like, sign me up. I don't know if we sign him up for, you know, the like stand-in stuff, but like, yeah, but he was totally fine with me going back. I mean, you know, we're gonna be as careful as we can be, and you know, I feel like we're, you know, we can make the safety protocols work.
Scott, you were like, your wife wants you out of the house?
Oh yeah. Oh, she's very, very happy that I'm going. But there was a period where, you know, she was going, man, aren't you really want to get back to work, right? And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of enjoying like the vacation from all of this. And she's like, you want to go back to work? All right. I want to go back to work. Okay. So yeah, she's very ready. She's very ready.
Now, Jacqui, what about being a newer mom and like going back to work? What about child? If you're,
you know, I've really, it's been a wild time, but I've really loved this time. I've obviously got to be with him day in and day out. It's absolutely wonderful. And to watch him from the beginning of quarantine, he was crawling and now he's running, which is just, you know, and it's amazing that both my husband and I, we got to witness that together. So like I said, I'm excited to get back and have that sense of community and be with the cast and the crew. But yeah, I am going to miss this time.
What did you hear from the fans a lot during the COVID-19 while you guys, have you been communicating a lot with everybody?
I think they've enjoyed the, you know, the vintage shows. I mean, I think that I've enjoyed watching them, but I think they're certainly ready for the show to come back and have some new episodes. I think, you know, people are ready to watch again. So we are so lucky. We're so lucky to have, you know, social media during this time and to be able to communicate with the fans and let them know what's going on and hear, you know, what they like, what Heather was saying about commenting about the shows that I haven't watched, but, you know, and from the 80s, it's so cool that we got to see all of these things. Cool. But it's good that we have this open dialogue and we're able to continue to communicate. You know, it would have been tough if we didn't have social media.
Right.
Yep.
When the pandemic really started, you know, gaining ground and we kind of knew that this was serious, our show was really good about reaching out to fans and making sure that we were sort of available. I mentioned to you before this interview started that I started doing a lot more press and we did this kind of campaign of like, we're all in this together. I've also been made very aware that while this has been a shared experience in a way, it's also been a dramatically different experience for all different types of people. And so, you know, it's been easy for me to say, you know, hey, stay inside your house, you know, make sure that you're safe. We're all in this together. We're right there with you. But I'm not right there with someone who is living paycheck to paycheck and doesn't know how they're going to feed their kids right now. And so learning to be sensitive to how differently this has affected different people has been kind of a learning experience for me. And I really appreciate that.
All right, well, I want to thank each of you for being part of this today and to make sure you watch their amazing performances on Emmy Week on The Bold and the Beautiful, and make sure to tune into the 47th Annual Daytime Emmys on Friday night on CBS, 8 p.m. Eastern, to see if Heather Tom wins another Emmy. And Jacqui will pass her crown to, and Scott's sitting this one out, and sitting this one out. And all, just to all of you, we've all missed you so much in new episodes on Bold and the Beautiful, and I'm so glad to hear that you are going back into production, and we'll see where that lands, and we look forward to seeing you. So much love to you all.
Thank you. Love.
And
Thank you, Michael.
Okay,
all
bye-bye.
Right. Stay safe.
This week, we honor our past Daytime Emmy winners.
I didn't ask about you. I didn't need you. I wanted your first child to be mine.
That's no Halo. And you're no heroine. I want to know which one of us you're lying to.
You will never have to question my devotion to you or our marriage.
The Bold and the Beautiful, Emmy Week, this week on CBS.